Every night, I dream the same dream. And then...
Okay, so this week, the Marvel Cinematic Universe just got a little bit bigger, adding to its, 27, 28 total films in the franchise. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness has finally hit the big screen. The much anticipated Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, especially following Spider-Man No Way Home, where we know the multiverse door is officially opened in the MCU. Now, I'm going to give you my spoiler-free review just real quick, but if you do want some spoiler reviews, it will be coming shortly after that, so I will warn you, so you can turn the video off if you have not seen it. So first impressions, I thought it was pretty good. I gave it an 8.6, my official final score, out of 10 for the simple fact that I love weird. I love comic book movies. My favorite Marvel TV show so far has gone Loki, and then I would go Moon Knight because they are weird. They are very comic booky. They are into the nerdy realm of what the pages I read growing up are. Some people either love that or they hate that. And Marvel's really not ventured into the weird or the quirky or the strange too far. No pun intended for the strange part. But we really haven't gone too far into the weird material. Comic books are weird, guys. Comic books are very, very weird. I have read hundreds in my lifetime, and there are very few normal comic books out there, especially circulating nowadays where people are just into all the kind of weird craziness. And so the Marvel Cinematic Universe is starting to test its audience by putting weird stuff out there. The first big weird challenge, so to speak, that they put out there was Guardians of the Galaxy, and I think that cast not only made people fall in love with that movie, but made people ignore a lot of the weird stuff that's in it. This is, for me personally, the first weird Marvel film that was put out there. The Eternals, somebody mentioned that to me. The Eternals is just a bad film overall. But this is the first weird Marvel film. And so, that being said, people are going to love this movie or they're going to hate this movie. There's no in-between with Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. There's very few people that are going to walk out of the theater going like, it's okay. That's what a lot of people did coming out of Eternals. Like, it's okay. Coming out of this year, they're going to go, dude, that was great. It was super weird, super comic booky. You know, it felt like this was a one-off of a Doctor Strange comic book in the early 90s, early 2000s. Or you're going to walk out going, I hated this movie. And the only reason I know this is because from the sample audience of the people that I went with, that is exactly what happened. You walked out saying, I really liked this movie. It was a lot of fun. It was weird and crazy. Or you walked out saying, I hate this. I never want to watch this again. It was a waste of my time. So my first impressions, 8.6 overall. It was not the big, massive surprise and jaw-dropping effect that everybody thought was going to be. And I will admit, I was let down a little bit. I was expecting, especially after Spider-Man, this big, massive spectacle. I was expecting 30 different characters to walk in, and I kind of like the fact that we didn't oversaturate it with characters. And we're going to talk about the spoilers here in just a second because I have a lot more opinions about that. But yeah, it's fun. It's enjoyable. If you like weird, it is very weird. It is very violent, especially for a PG-13 movie, which I appreciate the fact that Marvel's starting to go into the creepy, the crawly, the violent, because we've not seen this before. So overall, 8.6. Now to the spoilers. Okay, so Doctor Strange is a weird character already in the comic books. At one point, he has cheetah hands, okay? So it gets very weird in the comic books. I really enjoyed the fact that Wanda was not only the villain, but she was probably top 5 best villains in the MCU so far. This is Elizabeth Olsen. This is an award-winning performance, I think. She was fantastic. She was scary. She was dark, but she didn't overplay it. You know, so often, especially when someone's playing a dark, terrifying, menacing character, they dive into it so deep that you kind of get lost in how scary this character is. I like the fact that she was psychotic, it felt like. She had that button where you're like, if you push this button just wrong, just a little bit, she's going to snap and just start murdering everybody. So I love the fact that Wanda was menacing. She was violent. I mean, when she was attacking Kamar-Taj, I mean, she didn't hold back. She's just killing everybody in her way so she can get America Chavez and hop into the multiverse and go find her children. So I love the fact that Scarlet Witch finally showed up on the big screen, because we've seen Wanda, but this is the Scarlet Witch. Very menacing, very dark. Now, Sam Raimi did do something that this was about the only thing that frustrated me about the movie. The first act was great. The third act was fantastic. The second act lost me just a little bit. When Doctor Strange officially goes into the Multiverse of Madness, okay, when he finally goes into the multiverse, and for just quick synopsis, the whole story is based on American Chavez and how she has the only multiverse traveling power that's out there. So Wanda wants that power to go find her two children, which she made up in our universe but do exist in other universes. So she's going to go kill the Wanda that's in another universe, take her place, and become the mother of her two children, Tommy and Billy, because those children do not exist in our universe. So that's the whole kind of short premise, just to kind of refresh our memories if it's been a week or two since we've seen it. But when Doctor Strange went into the multiverse for the first time, and him and American Chavez end up landing in this off-brand, weird, floral New York City, I was really annoyed that we didn't explore more multiverses, even if it was for a quick 30 to 40 seconds. When he first lands in that universe, I'm like, great, this is the first initiation of the multiverse, and we're going to, this is a weird New York City. Now we're going to see them hop to different multiverses and maybe learn who American Chavez is and why she's so important in her story along the way. When in fact, the first multiverse we go to, we basically spend all of our time there. Then there's a little... you step on a circle and it tells you it's a memory bank, and it shows American Chavez how she first discovered she had her power and what happened to her parents, and right there, done. That's where I would have just cut that off, get that out of there, and let's learn her story while going on a miniature adventure. I think that would have made this movie a lot more enjoyable to the average Marvel fan if we didn't just go to one multiverse and then basically from that multiverse went straight to the Illuminati and then straight to the third act of the movie, which we were basically done. That would have been a lot more fun. I would have liked to have seen maybe popped up in a world where Deadpool's just sitting on a park bench and he goes, "What the?" and insert massive swear word here, and just something quick like that would have made the film so much more enjoyable. Or let's maybe just go through the OG Fantastic Four cast with Chris Evans and Jessica Biel, or Jessica Alba, excuse me. That would have been funny. You just have a quick walk by of maybe Doctor Strange goes to the Baxter Building and goes, "I heard there's someone here that is smart enough to maybe point me into the right direction." And then you get to see the Fantastic Four from the original Fox series. Go to the X-Men universe. I don't know. It needed something to really make it feel like a multiversal movie. Even though we talked a lot about the multiverse, the movie was based on a multiversal power. I didn't feel we experienced the multiverse into its fullest form in a way that would have made this movie a little bit more enjoyable. Now, I didn't want it oversaturated with the multiverse, but I don't know. Go to a weird planet, Go to an alternate Iron Man universe. There was so much talk about that in the first place. We should have gotten something like that. That really would have beefed up the center half of this movie, that second act. And I think it would have made a lot of the average Marvel fans fall in love with this movie, as opposed to maybe just appreciating the fact that the movie was made but not enjoying it as much. So that's my biggest critique of the entire thing. We spent barely any time exploring the multiverse, kind of went to one little area, and then the story moved on from there. Now, let's go into the Illuminati. The most enjoyable part of the movie, personally for me, was the whole Illuminati scene. We got John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, the first fan-casted character I think we've seen in the MCU. They fans have been petitioning for John Krasinski to show up in the blue jumpsuit with the number 4 on it for I can't even count how many years at this point. And him and Professor X in his 80s gold chair. That was the best. That was the best. That was the best part of the entire film. It was enjoyable. It was unique. I did not expect to see Black Bolt. I really wish we'd have seen we would have seen some other characters from Namor, from the Illuminati, characters that are the OGs of that council. I could have done without another Captain Marvel. I hate Captain Marvel in the first place, and I didn't like her predecessor or her multiversal self in this movie. I just wasn't a big fan of her. Captain Carter was awesome. I love the fact that they strapped the jetpack on her, and Captain Carter, she looked fierce, she looked badass. Like, I would love to see a Captain Carter movie. I thought she was so cool. But the whole Illuminati scene was a lot of fun. I appreciate the fact that they gave the fans what they wanted and John Krasinski showed up. And for me, that kind of made the movie and made me love that movie. Made me love the movie. But that's where the second act really lost it for me. Like I said, is that second act is my biggest bugaboo on this entire film. Is, yes, the Illuminati was there and it was cool, but at the same time, like, if we explored a bunch of different multiverses and we got to see other characters, I think the cherry on top would have been John Krasinski. I don't think John Krasinski was the entire ice cream cone, ice cream, and cherry on top. Yes, he was an awesome feature, but I needed more to really build up the excitement, because after Spider-Man No Way Home, there were such high expectations set for this movie, and I really tried to push my expectations down, but I just can't help myself. I get excited. It's a Marvel film. So I really wish there was something there, but I love the horror aspects of this film. You got zombie Doctor Strange, who used literally demons to form a cape and fly over to fight Wanda. I thought Wanda was terrifying. American Chavez, I was surprised. I didn't think I was going to like her. And all the talk leading up to this movie, there was talks, is it going to be, is Ms. Marvel going to be around? Is it going to be American Chavez? I was kind of surprised how much I ended up liking her character and liking her as an actress as well. She was fun. I thought she did a pretty darn good job. The acting overall was great performances. Benedict Cumberbatch, of course, we got to talk about him. His alternate versions of himself were really good. The only thing that kind of took me out of the movie for a split second is at the very end, when he has to summon himself through the Darkhold to go into dead Doctor Strange's zombie corpse to fight Wanda, because there's no living Strange in the universe, because he is that living Strange in the universe. It kind of lost me for a second when he's like, he's got the zombie, the classic zombie rotten off side of the cheek, and he's like, "You need to trust yourself. Believe in yourself." And I was like, all right, okay, it's a little corny, and that's Sam Raimi's staple, though. He's a very, very corny director, but he handled the scary elements quite well, like Doctor Strange, zombie Doctor Strange leading up to that point, before he started giving this heartfelt speech, was really, really unique and really cool. I thought Wanda was terrifying. I thought the death scenes where Doctor Strange, our Doctor Strange, I know I gotta clarify this stuff now, but he fights the other Doctor Strange and throws him outside of the window, and he lands on the fence, and the fence pierces him. I thought that was really gory and cool. Overall, I really enjoyed the film. The multiverse is going to get crazy, and a lot of people's biggest complaints is they're going to get lost a lot. Here's all I'm saying to the average fan out there. If you're not watching Marvel TV shows, if you're not going and seeing all the movies, don't expect to know what's going to be happening over the next 4 years. Marvel has built itself up in the first saga, the first 25, 26 movies, whatever it was. The first saga, each movie led into the next movie, into the next movie, into the next movie. This entire second saga is going to be craziness. It's going to be the multiverse. It's going to be introducing all of these new characters that we haven't seen. And although it's not really tying in to the best of its ability, I really would have, what am I trying to say here? I really would have liked if Marvel didn't make you now rely on the TV shows as much as they're going to. Because if you haven't seen WandaVision, you're not going to understand Wanda's character. You're not going to understand why she has the Darkhold, why she's so hell-bent on finding Tommy and Billy, why she's so hell-bent on making her kids a part of her life. You're not going to know any of that. And although they briefly talk about it, you're going to be very, very lost for the future movies. So Marvel did kind of drive a stake in the ground and say, hey, if you're not watching the TV shows, if you're not paying attention to all these other projects that we're doing, you're going to be in some real trouble moving forward into the multiverse. But overall, love the movie. Benedict Cumberbatch, great job. Elizabeth Olsen, I think she should get an award for Best Supporting Actress. It was more of a Scarlet Witch movie than it was a Doctor Strange movie. But overall, very few complaints, a lot of fun, and totally recommend this Marvel movie.